Commander Thelkar stood before the massive display screen in his command ship. The holographic image showed a blue and green planet spinning slowly in the darkness of space. His three eyes studied the data flowing across secondary screens. Target world 7821. The locals called it Earth, another primitive world, he said to his second officer. Their technology is centuries behind ours. The second officer nodded his scaled head in agreement. The intelligence reports showed they still use chemical rockets. They have not even unified under one government. They fight among themselves constantly. Thelkar felt satisfaction wash over him. In his long career with the Krell Dominion, he had conquered 47 worlds. This one would be 48. The pattern was always the same. Strike hard. Strike fast. Show overwhelming power. The primitives always surrendered within days. Begin the attack, Thelkar commanded. Across Earth's orbit, 30 Krell warships shimmered into existence. They had traveled through slip space, appearing without warning above the unsuspecting planet. The ships were massive, each one larger than Earth's biggest aircraft carriers. Their dark hulls reflected no light as they positioned themselves. Above major population centers, in the Pacific Defense Force headquarters in Hawaii, alarms suddenly screamed to life. Admiral Chen jumped from her chair as red lights flooded the command center. "Ma'am, we have multiple contacts," a young officer shouted. "They just appeared in orbit. 30 vessels. Size unknown. They're not responding to any communication." Admiral Chen's mind raced. This was impossible. Their early warning systems should have detected any approaching craft. "Get me the UN Emergency Council. Now." But it was already too late for warnings. The first kinetic strikes hit military bases across the globe. Metal rods accelerated to incredible speeds from orbit, slammed into their targets like the fist of an angry god. The Space Command facility in Colorado vanished in a massive explosion. Russia's Northern Fleet Base became a crater. China's military satellite control center simply ceased to exist in Lagos. Nigeria, Dr. Sarah Okonkwo was working late in her research laboratory. She was an engineer, developing new materials for spacecraft construction. The building suddenly shook. She ran to the window and saw a pillar of fire rising from the military airport 10 kilometers away. "What is happening?" her assistant asked, fear clear in his voice. Before Sarah could answer, a second explosion lit up the night sky. This one was closer. Much closer. "Run." Sarah screamed. They barely made it out of the building before a streak of light descended from the sky. The laboratory exploded behind them, throwing Sarah and her assistant to the ground. Heat washed over them. When Sarah looked back, her life's work was nothing but flames and rubble. Around the world, the same scene repeated. Military installations were destroyed with surgical precision. Communication satellites were picked off one by one. Space stations that had taken decades to build were reduced to debris in minutes. The attack was coordinated, overwhelming, and merciless. In the emergency bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, world leaders gathered via video conference. Faces on screens showed shock, anger, and fear. The President of the United States spoke first. "We have lost 70% of our military satellite network. Our space-based defenses are gone. Ground forces are reporting massive casualties at every major installation." "It is the same everywhere," the Chinese premier added. "We are under attack by an unknown force. Their technology is far beyond ours." Admiral Chen's face appeared on one of the screens. Her uniform was torn and dirty. Behind her, fires burned. "I watched them destroy my fleet," she said quietly. "We tried to fight back. Our missiles could not even reach their ships. They have some kind of shield technology. Nothing we have can touch them." 6 hours after the first strike, the attack stopped. An eerie silence fell over the planet. Cities burned. Military bases smoldered. Millions were dead or injured. And then, every screen on Earth flickered to life. The face that appeared was alien. 3 eyes set in a triangular pattern. Scaled skin that shifted through shades of blue and green. A mouth full of sharp teeth. "People of Earth," Commander Thelkar said. His words were translated into every human language simultaneously. I am Commander Thelkar of the Krell Dominion. Your world is now under our control. We have destroyed your military capability. We have shown you our power. You cannot fight us. You cannot win." Thelkar paused, letting his words sink in. "You have 24 hours to surrender. Your governments will submit to Krell authority. Your resources will serve the Dominion. Resist, and we will burn your cities one by one until nothing remains but ash. Choose wisely. The Krell Dominion has conquered 47 worlds before yours. None have ever refused our terms." Screens went dark. In the bunker, silence reigned. World leaders stared at each other across video feeds. What could they possibly do? Their weapons were useless. Their defenses were shattered. The aliens had demonstrated power beyond anything humanity possessed. "We have to surrender," someone said. "We have no choice." But in the Colorado Communications Center, a young officer was studying data from the attacks. Her name was Lieutenant Park, and she had noticed something strange. She approached Admiral Chen, who was also studying the attack patterns. "Ma'am, may I show you something?" Admiral Chen nodded. Lieutenant Park pulled up a map showing all the strike locations. They hit every military base, every satellite, every space station. But look at what they did not hit. She highlighted different areas: factories, power plants, research facilities, population centers. They could have killed billions, but they chose not to. They targeted only military assets. Admiral Chen leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "They want us alive." "Yes, ma'am." "Which means they need something from us. Our world, our resources, maybe even us." A slow smile spread across Admiral Chen's face. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a predator who had just spotted a weakness in her prey. "If they need something from us," she said softly, "that means we have leverage. And if we have leverage, we can fight." She stood up straighter and turned to her remaining officers. "Get me everything we have on those ships. Every scan. Every piece of data. I want to know what they are made of, how they move, how they think." Her voice grew harder. "These Krell think they can conquer Earth in 24 hours. They think we will just give up. They are about to learn a very important lesson about humanity." "What lesson is that, ma'am?" Lieutenant Park asked. Admiral Chen's eyes blazed with determination. "We do not surrender. We adapt." Part 2. We don't surrender. We adapt 23 hours after the ultimatum. Commander Thelkar waited for Earth's surrender message. He sat in his command chair, confident. Every conquered world followed the same pattern. Show them they cannot win, and they give up. It was logical. It was inevitable, Commander, his communications officer said. "We are receiving thousands of signals from the planet." Thelkar leaned forward. "The surrender message?" "No, sir." "Launch detections. Thousands of them." "What?" On the display screen, red markers began appearing all over the planet. Missiles launched from underground silos. Rockets lifted off from hidden bases. Even crude chemical weapons fired into the sky. The launches came from every continent, every nation. It was chaos. "Impossible," Thelkar whispered. "They must know they cannot hurt us." But the missiles kept coming. Old nuclear weapons from the Cold War era. Modern cruise missiles. Experimental weapons that had never been fully tested. Commercial rockets hastily modified with explosive payloads. Anything that could fly and carry a warhead was now screaming toward the Krell fleet. "Raise shields to full power," Thelkar ordered. "Destroy all incoming projectiles." The Krell point defense systems came to life. Lasers and plasma weapons shot down missiles by the hundreds. The shields glowed as explosions bloomed against them like deadly flowers. But there were so many missiles. They came from every direction, following no pattern, no strategy. A Pakistani submarine surfaced in the Arabian Sea and launched every conventional missile it carried. Brazilian crop-dusting planes, modified overnight in hidden airfields, flew low and fast toward Krell landing zones. Kenyan engineers activated ground-based lasers originally built for cleaning space debris. The lasers were not powerful enough to penetrate Krell's shields, but they blinded sensors and created confusion in Mumbai, India. Krell ground forces moved through the ruined streets to secure a strategic port. They expected terrified civilians. Instead, they found soldiers waiting in every building. The humans attacked from windows, rooftops, and underground tunnels. They used weapons that Krell had never seen before. Simple explosives, acid sprays, even sharpened metal. Why did they keep fighting? A Krell soldier asked his squad leader. Our armor is superior. Our weapons are more powerful. They must know they will die. Human psychology is not in our database, the squad leader replied, firing his plasma rifle at a building. Our intelligence said they would surrender. A massive explosion suddenly ripped through the squad. Half the Krell soldiers fell. The survivors scrambled for cover, but the attacks came from everywhere. The humans were not fighting like soldiers. They fought like cornered animals, desperate and unpredictable. In the Amazon rainforest, an entire Krell battalion vanished. They had landed to secure natural resources. The humans attacked from the trees, from the rivers, from underground. They used the jungle itself as a weapon. Krell's soldiers, trained for organized warfare, could not adapt to this environment. Within hours, the battalion stopped reporting. Commander Thelkar watched the reports flood in. Nothing was going according to plan. The humans should be defeated. Instead, they fought harder. This is not how war works, he said to his second officer. They have lost. Why do they not accept it? Deep underground in Lagos, Dr. Sarah Okonkwo worked with scientists from around the world. They had gathered in a secret facility, connected by surviving internet cables. On her screen, she studied pieces of a destroyed Krell drone. Her team had managed to recover several during the attacks. Let's look at this, she said to the other scientists on the video call. A Chinese engineer, a German physicist, an American weapons specialist. All working together. The shield technology operates on rotating frequencies. See how it cycles every 3.7 seconds? It is predictable, the German physicist said, excitement in her voice. If we can match the frequency at the exact moment of rotation, we can create a gap, Sarah finished. Just for a moment, but it might be enough. We do not have weapons that can exploit such a small gap, the Chinese engineer said. Sarah smiled. Then, we will create one. Admiral Chen coordinated the resistance from her mobile command center. She moved location every few hours to avoid Krell tracking. Around her, officers worked frantically on computers and communication devices. We have reports from all continents, Lieutenant Park said. The Krell control major cities, but they cannot hold territory. Our people keep attacking. The guerrilla forces in Southeast Asia have destroyed 3 Krell supply columns. African resistance has retaken to mining facilities. It is working, ma'am. Admiral Chen nodded. The Krell are used to organized military forces, hierarchies, chain of command. We are showing them something different. Chaos. Millions of people making their own decisions. They cannot predict us because we do not follow their rules. She pulled up a map showing Krell positions. They have superior technology, but technology needs supply lines, resources, time to repair and rearm. We will give them none of those things. Admiral Chen opened a new channel. She had been learning Krell language from captured databases. It was difficult, but she had always been good with languages. She began broadcasting on Krell military frequencies. In their own language, she said, Commander Thelkar, this is Admiral Chen of the Pacific Defense Force. You wanted a war? Welcome to Earth. We have been fighting each other for 10,000 years. We know every way there is to kill, every strategy to survive. You just did something no human empire ever accomplished. You united us, all of us. Every nation. Every people. That is your first mistake. She paused, then continued. You think you are conquering Earth. You are wrong. You are teaching us to fight you. Every day we learn more about your technology. Every day we get better at killing your soldiers. Every day you stay here, we become more dangerous. So enjoy your victory, Commander, because it is the last one you will ever have." The transmission ended. On the Krell command ship, Thelkar stared at the screen. His second officer looked at him with confusion in his three eyes. "How did they learn our language so quickly?" the officer asked, but Thelkar was thinking about something else. He pulled up files on human history. Wars, thousands of them. These humans had been fighting for their entire existence. Against nature, against each other, against everything. He read about something called World War II. Humans had killed millions of their own species. The cruelty was shocking. But what disturbed Thelkar more was what came after. The same nations that had tried to destroy each other were now allies. Working together. Fighting the Krell together. "Quest reinforcements from Krell High Command," Thelkar said quietly. "Sir." His second officer was shocked. "We have never needed reinforcements before." "The High Command will see this as a failure. Send the request," Thelkar ordered. "I think we have made a terrible mistake. We hit them hard, expecting them to break. Instead, we made them angry. And angry humans are more dangerous than we calculated." In Tokyo, a Krell soldier named Vekler lay wounded in an alley. His squad had been ambushed. He was the only survivor. His armor was cracked, and green blood leaked from a wound in his side. He expected to die here alone in this strange city. Instead, a human found him. An older man with gray hair. The human wore a white coat marked with a red cross. A Dr. Vekler raised his weapon weakly. The human did not run. He simply knelt down and opened a medical kit. "I am a doctor," the human said in broken Krell language. "I help injured." "You are injured." "I help you." "Why?" Vekler asked. "We are enemies." The doctor began treating the wound with supplies meant for humans. "Yes, we are angry at your people. Very angry. But you are hurt." "I am doctor." "This is what I do." As the doctor worked, Vekler felt confusion. The Krell conquered through strength. The weak served the strong. That was natural law. But this human showed mercy to an enemy. It made no sense. "What is your name?" Vekler asked. "Dr. Tanaka," the human replied. "And I know you, Krell, think we are primitive. Maybe we are. But we are not monsters. Learn the difference." Vekler lay back and let the human doctor save his life. For the first time since coming to Earth, he wondered if the Krell truly understood what they were fighting. Part 3, Learning Curve 3 weeks, had passed since the Krell invasion began. Commander Thelkar stood in his command center and stared at casualty reports. His forces held every major city on Earth. By all military measures, the Krell had won. Yet the fighting never stopped. Another supply convoy was destroyed in the Sahara Desert, his logistics officer reported. Humans used the sandstorm as cover. "We lost 20 transport vehicles and their cargo. The occupation force in Moscow is requesting extraction," another officer added. "They are surrounded. Human resistance fighters have cut them off from reinforcements." Thelkar felt something he had never experienced in 47 previous conquests. Doubt. "Send reinforcements to Moscow," he ordered, "and request additional forces from Krell High Command." His second officer hesitated. "Commander, we have already requested reinforcements twice." High Command denied both requests. They said, "We have sufficient forces to hold one primitive world." "Request again," Thelkar said firmly. "Explain that this world is different." But he knew what High Command would say. In Krell culture, asking for help was admitting weakness, admitting failure. His career was already damaged, his reputation in ruins. In her hidden laboratory in South Africa, Dr. Sarah Okonkwo made a breakthrough. Surrounding her were scientists from 12 countries working together on salvaged Krell technology. The laboratory was underground, protected from orbital surveillance. "We have it," Sarah announced to the video conference. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep, but they shone with excitement. "The shield frequency pattern is fully mapped. Every Krell ship follows the same rotation. It is a weakness in their standardized design." On the screen, the German physicist nodded. "We cannot build weapons powerful enough to break through, even during the frequency gap. Our technology is still too primitive." "Then we do not break through," Sarah said. We go around. Look at this. She displayed a new schematic. We take their own power cores from salvaged drones. We connect them to Earth's electrical power grids. Then we generate massive electromagnetic pulses synchronized to their shield frequency. It will not destroy the shields, but it will make them unstable, fluctuating. And in those moments of fluctuation, they are vulnerable, the Chinese engineer finished. This could work, but we would need coordination across the entire planet. Every power grid firing at the exact same moment? Sarah smiled. We have been divided for centuries, but we are human. When we need to work together, we can. Let us show the Krell what cooperation really looks like. Admiral Chen received the plan and immediately understood its potential. She sent encrypted messages to resistance cells across the globe. The plan was simple, but required perfect timing. Every group would prepare. Every region would ready their attacks. And when the EMP pulses created those brief moments of vulnerability, humanity would strike with everything they had. In Tokyo, Vekla recovered from his wounds in Dr. Tanaka's hidden clinic. The Krell soldier had been given many chances to escape or call for rescue. He did not. Instead, he watched the humans. Dr. Tanaka treated wounded resistance fighters in the same room where Vekla rested. The doctor did not discriminate. He healed humans and Krell alike. Beckler saw young soldiers, barely adults, with terrible injuries. He saw elderly civilians who had lost everything. Yet they kept fighting. Why do you not give up? Vekler asked a young human woman who had lost her arm in a Krell attack. You cannot win. Our technology is superior. You lose soldiers every day. The woman looked at him with fierce eyes. You think this is about winning? This is our home, our world. You came here uninvited. You killed our people. We will fight until we die, or you leave. Those are the only two options. But you will die, Beckler said. Is that not fear? Is death not something to avoid? Dr. Tanaka answered instead. Of course we fear death. We are not stupid, but we fear living as slaves more. We fear our children. Growing up under occupation, some things are worth dying for. That is something your people do not understand. Beckler thought about this. Krell society was built on hierarchy. The strong ruled the weak. It was efficient, logical. But these humans chose death over submission. It was illogical. Yet somehow, it made them stronger. In the Amazon, a Krell patrol moved through thick jungle. They were searching for human resistance camps. The patrol consisted of 12 soldiers, armed with the best weapons the Dominion could provide. They never found the camps. Instead, the jungle found them. Humans attacked from trees, dropping explosive devices. They attacked from rivers, using the water to mask their heat signatures. They attacked from underground, collapsing tunnels beneath Krell's feet. Within an hour, the patrol was gone. The patrol leader, in his last transmission, said something that would be studied later. They do not fight like soldiers. They fight like the jungle itself. How do we defeat a planet that wants us dead? Admiral Chen planned the global counterattack from her mobile command center. She had moved 17 times in 3 weeks. The Krell could not catch her. She was always one step ahead. All regions report ready, Lieutenant Park said. Power grids are modified with the Krell power cores. Resistance cells are in position. We are ready on your command, ma'am. Admiral Chen looked at the global map. Every continent showed green lights. Millions of people working together. It was beautiful. Dr. Okonkwo, she said into the communication channel. Is your team ready? Sarah's voice came through, tired but determined. We are ready, Admiral. The EMP generators are synchronized. We will have a 3-second window when the shields fluctuate. That is all we can guarantee. 3 seconds is enough, Admiral Chen said. Humanity has done more with less. She took a deep breath. All units. This is Admiral Chen. In 30 seconds, we remind the Krell why they should have left Earth alone. Prepare to fire on my mark. On the Krell command ship, alarms suddenly screamed. Thelkar jumped from his meditation chamber and rushed to the command center. What is happening? He demanded. Energy spikes all over the planet, his science officer reported. Massive electromagnetic pulses. They are targeting our shield frequencies. How did they learn? The pulses hit. Every Krell ship's shields flickered. For 3 seconds, they were vulnerable. 3 seconds was enough. From every corner of Earth, attacks launched. Missiles that had been hidden. Railguns that had been secretly built. Laser weapons powered by entire cities' electrical grids. Even modified commercial satellites turned into weapons. The humans had learned from every engagement. They studied every Krell weakness. And now they struck with precision. A Krell cruiser over North America took a direct hit from a ground-based mass driver. The ship did not explode, but its engines went dark. It began falling toward the ocean. Another ship over Asia suffered a hull breach from concentrated laser fire. Automated systems sealed the breach, but the damage was done. The Krell were bleeding, shields back to full power. Thelkar shouted, "Return fire. Destroy those weapon platforms." But the 3 seconds had passed, and the damage was done. For the first time since the invasion began, Krell ships were hurt. Not destroyed, but hurt. And more importantly, the humans had proven something. They could hurt the Krell. They could fight back. They could win. Across Earth, resistance fighters cheered. In bunkers and hidden bases, in rubble-filled cities and dense jungles, humans celebrated. It was not victory. Not yet. But it was hope. Commander Thelkar stood in his damaged command center and finally understood. These humans were not like other species. They did not think like other species. They were chaotic, unpredictable, and absolutely refused to quit. "Request full reinforcement fleet from High Command," he said quietly. "Tell them we are not conquering Earth. We are teaching Earth to fight a technologically superior enemy, and they are learning faster than we ever thought possible." His second officer sent the message. But both of them knew the truth. The Krell had made a terrible mistake. They came to conquer a primitive world. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous. They had made humanity angry. And angry humans were the most dangerous force in the galaxy. Part 4. Hunters become prey to months after the invasion began. The Krell reinforcement fleet emerged from slip space above Earth, 20 massive warships, carrying thousands of fresh soldiers and enough firepower to level continents. They expected to secure an already conquered world. Instead, they flew into a trap. Admiral Chen had been waiting. Her scouts had detected the slip space anomalies hours before the fleet arrived. She had used that time well. "All units hold position," she whispered into her command channel. "Let them get comfortable. Let them think they are safe." The reinforcement fleet moved into standard orbital positions. Their commander was Sub-Commander Rethkol, a veteran of 20 conquests. He opened a channel to Commander Thelkar. "Brother Commander," Rethkol said in Krell formal greeting. "We have arrived to secure your victory. Where would you like us to deploy?" Thelkar's face on the screen looked tired, haunted. "Brother Sub-Commander, I must warn you. This world is not like the trap sprung. From behind Earth's moon, modified human spacecraft launched. They were crewed by Krell standards, welded together from salvaged parts, powered by hybrid Krell-human technology, but they were fast, numerous, and piloted by humans who had nothing left to lose." "Incoming vessels?" a Krell sensor officer shouted. Hundreds of them. The spacecraft swarmed the reinforcement fleet like angry insects. Some carried explosives, crashing directly into Krell's shields. Others fired modified weapons based on stolen Krell designs. A few were carrying nuclear weapons, desperate last resort weapons that humans had promised never to use again. "Evasive maneuvers," Rethkol ordered. "Return fire." But the human spacecraft were not alone. Earth's remaining satellites, secretly armed with weapons, activated. Ground-based mass drivers fired metal slugs at orbital velocities. The entire planet had become a weapon. A Krell destroyer took a direct hit from a kamikaze spacecraft packed with antimatter. The ship did not explode completely, but its main reactor went critical. It had to evacuate. Another ship found itself surrounded by smaller human craft firing concentrated laser bursts at the same shield point. Like ants bringing down a much larger creature, they overwhelmed the defenses through sheer persistence. "This is impossible," Rethkel shouted. "They should not have this technology." The report said they were primitive. "They were," Thelkar replied quietly. 2 months ago, in her underground facility, Dr. Sarah Okonkwo monitored the battle through hacked Krell communication channels. Around her, scientists worked frantically on the next generation of weapons. "The hybrid plasma cannon is ready for testing," the Chinese engineer announced. Sarah nodded. "Good. What about the shield disruptors?" A young Indian physicist held up a small device. "Portable now. We based the design on their own technology, but removed the safety limiters. It will burn out after one use, but it will create a complete shield collapse for 5 seconds. "Perfect," Sarah said. "Get them to the frontline units immediately." She looked at her team. They were exhausted, having worked nonstop for weeks. But their eyes burned with determination. "The Krell brought us their technology thinking we were too stupid to understand it. They were wrong. We are not just copying their designs. We are improving them." On the ground in the Himalayas, a Krell division tried to secure a human weapons facility. The facility was built into the mountains themselves, using ancient tunnels and modern engineering. The Krell had superior numbers and firepower, but the humans had the mountains. Avalanches buried entire Krell squads. The thin air at high altitude affected Krell biology. They moved slower, thought slower. Human soldiers born on this world had no such problems. They struck from caves, from cliffs, from impossible angles. "Fall back," the Krell division commander ordered. "This terrain is against us." But falling back meant crossing open ground. Human snipers, using Krell energy weapons modified for longer range, picked off soldiers one by one. The division that had come to conquer a weapons facility became trapped, unable to advance or retreat. In Tokyo, Veckler watched Dr. Tanaka treat another wave of wounded. Both human and Krell soldiers lay in the same clinic. Some Krell soldiers, separated from their units and wounded, had learned that this human doctor would help them. They came willingly now, trusting their lives to a former enemy. "Your people are losing," Dr. Tanaka said to Veckler, not unkindly. "You must see that." "I see that we are dying," Veckler replied. "But I do not understand why. We have better weapons, better ships, more soldiers. By all logic, we should win." Dr. Tanaka finished bandaging a young human soldier and moved to a wounded Krell. "Know what your mistake was? You attacked our home. Humans can be cruel to each other. We fight over borders, resources, ideologies. But when something from outside threatens us, we remember what is most important. We remember we are all human. We are all from Earth." He looked at Veckler directly. "You united us. Something we could never do ourselves. You did for us. That is why you are losing." Veckler thought about this. In the weeks he had spent with Dr. Tanaka, he had learned about human honor. It was different from Krell. Honor, but no less real. These humans had saved his life when they could have killed him. They had shown mercy when they had every reason for revenge. "I must tell you something," Veckler said quietly. "It may be treason to my people, but I owe you a life debt. The Krell are planning something. I have heard communications. If the reinforcement fleet cannot secure Earth, High Command will order the planet sterilized. No survivors. They will destroy everything rather than admit defeat."
Actor.
Tanaka's face went pale. "They would kill billions. They would eliminate evidence of their failure," Veckler corrected. "In Krell culture, a loss like this would shame the entire Dominion. They cannot allow that. They will say Earth was a threat that had to be destroyed." Dr. Tanaka immediately contacted Admiral Chen through encrypted channels. The message was short but urgent. "The Krell will not accept defeat. They plan to sterilize the planet. We need to end this now, one way or another." Admiral Chen received the message in her command center. She looked at Lieutenant Park. "Get me Dr. Okonkwo, and prepare our last gambit. If the Krell want to burn Earth, we will bring the fire to them first." In orbit, Sub-Commander Rethkal's fleet was in chaos. Human attacks came from every direction. His ships were damaged, his crews exhausted. He opened a channel to Krell High Command. "This world cannot be conquered," he reported. "The humans are too adaptable, too numerous. They turn everything into a weapon. Their planet itself fights against us. I recommend immediate withdrawal and quarantine of this system." The response from High Command was cold. "Withdrawal is not acceptable. The Krell Dominion does not flee from primitives. You will secure that world, or you will destroy it. Those are your only options." Rethko closed the channel and looked at Thalkar's face on another screen. "They have ordered sterilization if we cannot win." Thalkar nodded slowly. "I expected that. The question is, will you follow that order?" "It is the law," Rethkal said. But his voice was uncertain. "I have been here for 2 months," Thalkar said. "I have watched these humans fight. They are brave, fierce, honorable in their own way. They defend their home with everything they have. Is that not worthy of respect?" "Respect does not change orders," Rethkal replied. Thalkar agreed. "But it should change our honor. I am a soldier. I have killed many enemies, but I have never murdered civilians. I have never destroyed a species that fought honorably. If we sterilize this world, we are not conquerors. We are Is that the legacy you want?" Before Rethko could answer, new alarm sounded. "Detecting slip space signatures," a sensor officer shouted. "Impossible readings. Something is coming through." On Earth, Admiral Chen smiled. Dr. Okonkwa's team had achieved the impossible. Using captured Krell technology and human innovation, they had built a functional slip-space drive. It was crude, unstable, and probably would only work once. But once was enough. A single human ship. Built from the skeleton of a destroyed Krell cruiser and packed with every weapon humanity could create, emerged from slipspace directly behind the Krell formation. The ship's pilot, Commander James Martinez from the U.S. Space Force, opened a channel to all Krell vessels. "This is Commander Martinez of Earth. You came to our home thinking we were primitive. You were right. 2 months ago, we did not have slipspace technology. Now we do. 2 months ago, we could not hurt your ships. Now we can. 2 months ago, we fought separately. Now we fight as one world." He paused, then continued. "You can destroy Earth. Maybe you will. But we can reach you now. Your supply lines. Your colonies. Your home world. If you burn our world, we will spend our last breath reaching yours. That is not a threat. That is a promise. So ask yourselves, is Earth worth that price?" Part 5. They paid the price. Commander Thalkar stared at the human ship on his display screen. It hung in space behind the Krell formation. Weapons armed, engines hot, a ship that should not exist. Technology that humans should not have. "Analysis," he demanded. His science officer worked frantically. "The ship is based on our cruiser design, but the modifications are extensive. They have combined our plasma weapons with their nuclear technology. The power output is unstable, but formidable. And Commander, they definitely have functional slipspace capability." Sub-Commander Rethkal appeared on the communication screen. "This changes everything. If they can reach our territory, then sterilizing Earth means nothing," Thalkar finished. "Some humans will escape. They will carry this hatred, this determination, across the galaxy. And they will hunt us." Both Krell commanders understood the implications. A species this stubborn, this innovative, this unwilling to surrender would be a nightmare if scattered across multiple worlds. Earth contained was a problem. Humanity unleashed would be a catastrophe. "High Command must be informed," Rethkal said. "No," Thalkar replied. "High Command will order us to continue. They will see this as a challenge to Krell pride. I will take responsibility." "That is career suicide," Rethkal warned. "Possibly actual suicide." Thalkar's 3 eyes closed briefly. "I am a soldier. I follow orders. But I am also Krell. We value honor above all. And there is no honor in what we have done here." He opened a direct channel to the human ship. "Commander Martinez, I am Commander Thelkar. I wish to negotiate terms. On the human vessel, Commander Martinez glanced at his crew. They were exhausted, running on determination and stimulants. His ship was barely holding together. The weapons were functional, but the truth was that in a straight fight, the Krell fleet would destroy them in minutes. But the Krell did not know that. Bluffing was very human. I'm listening, Commander Thelkar, Martinez replied. A meeting. Face to face. You and Admiral Chen. Myself and Subcommander Rethkel. On neutral ground. Earth is the neutral ground, Martinez said firmly. You came to our world. The meeting happens here. There was a pause. Then Thelkar agreed. Very well. Send coordinates. Admiral Chen chose the location carefully. The ruins of the United Nations building in New York, it had been one of the first sites hit during the invasion. Now it stood as a symbol of what the Krell had destroyed, and what humanity was determined to rebuild. The meeting took place in what remained of the Security Council chamber. The roof was gone, open to the sky. Burn marks scarred the walls. But a table had been set up, and chairs arranged. Admiral Chen arrived first, accompanied by Lieutenant Park and a security detail. She wore her dress uniform, cleaned and pressed despite everything. She wanted the Krell to see that humanity had not been broken, Commander. Kander, Thelkar, and Subcommander Rethkel landed in a small shuttle. They brought only 2 guards. As they entered the ruined chamber, Thelkar looked around at the destruction his forces had caused. This was a place of diplomacy, he asked. It was, Admiral Chen replied. Before you attacked without warning. Before you killed millions without even talking to us. Yes, this was where nations came to solve problems with words instead of weapons. Thelkar felt something he had rarely experienced. Shame. We did not think you would resist. Our intelligence said you were divided, primitive. We thought you would see our superiority and surrender. That was your second mistake, Admiral Chen said, sitting down at the table. Your first was attacking at all. The Krell commander sat across from her. For a long moment, they simply looked at each other. Enemies who had killed each other's people, who had burned each other's worlds. Now, sitting at a table like civilized beings. We cannot win this war, Thelkar said finally. Not without destroying Earth completely. And if we do that, your species will hunt us across the galaxy. We have created an enemy that will never forgive, never forget, and never stop. We're right, Admiral Chen agreed. If you burn our world, we will use our last breath to reach yours. Every human colony ship, every vessel, every person who survives will make it their life's mission to make you pay. We will become the nightmare your children tell stories about. Subcommander Rethkel leaned forward. Then what do you want? You cannot defeat our full military. We have hundreds of ships, thousands of worlds. What terms could possibly satisfy you? Admiral Chen pulled out a data pad. First, immediate withdrawal of all Krell forces from Earth and our solar system. Second, full technology transfer as reparations for the damage you have caused. Third, a treaty recognizing Earth as sovereign territory that will never be attacked again. High Command will never agree to those terms, Rethkel said. You are asking us to admit defeat. No, Admiral Chen corrected. I am asking you to admit you made a mistake. There is a difference. You came here thinking we were easy prey. You were wrong. Accept that. Learn from it. Move on. Thelkar studied the human admiral. She was small compared to Krell. Her species was physically weaker. Their technology was centuries behind. Yet she sat across from him with absolute confidence, making demands of a superior force. You are remarkable, he said quietly. Your species, we have conquered 47 worlds. None of them fought like you. None of them adapted like you. None of them turned our own technology against us in mere weeks. Why? What makes humans so different? Admiral Chen thought about her answer carefully. We are not special, Commander. We are just stubborn. Earth is a difficult world. We evolved fighting nature, fighting each other, fighting for every scrap of resources. We learned to never give up, because giving up